Have you ever thought about how our different identities can overlap to create multiple levels of discrimination? As a queer black lawyer, poet, and civil rights activist, Pauli Murray did. Pauli's groundbreaking work in championing equality for all helped change America for the better. Born in Baltimore in 1910 and raised by an aunt who struggled to make ends meet, Pauli was the only black student in the high school and was denied admission to Columbia and Harvard University because they did not accept women at the time. At a racially integrated women's college in New York, however, Pauli thrived. There, Pauli attended lectures by key figures of the Harlem Renaissance, like writer Langston Hughes. Pauli went on to study law at the historically black school, Howard University, and was the only woman in the class. As a working lawyer who had experienced gender, racial, and economic discrimination firsthand, Pauli specifically focused on civil rights law, coining the term Jane Crow, arguing that gender and racial discrimination were separate and different. Pauli's work was so impressive, it was later used as a reference for Brown versus Board of Education, the landmark U.S. Supreme Court case that federally desegregated schools. Despite professional success, Pauli faced many personal challenges. Struggling with gender identity, Pauli extensively researched gender and sexuality and sought the help of doctors and counselors. At times, Pauli wore androgynous clothing. Although Pauli most often identified and presented as female in public, she often wrote about herself as male in private. The struggles were kept a secret, including the relationship Pauli shared with a woman, Irene Barlow. But much of the pain and anguish was expressed in writing and poetry, which many believe is not given the credit it deserves. All the while, Pauli remained a devout Christian, and in 1977 left law to become the first black woman priest in the Episcopal Church. Pauli died in 1985, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire change. Pauli's ideas are described as a precursor to the concept of intersectionality, which defines how our multiple identities can overlap to create multiple levels of discrimination. How can we ensure all of our identities are understood and respected in America today?
Pauli Murray,
whose birth name was Anna Pauline,
was born November 20th, 1910, in Baltimore, Maryland. Pauli's mother died not long after giving birth to her 6th child, and Pauli was adopted by her Aunt Pauline,
who she was named for. Although all throughout her life, Pauli never felt terribly feminine, like she had been born into the wrong body, wrong gender. And most times, secretly, her Aunt Pauline agreed with her.
Aunt Pauline would watch her little niece ripping and running throughout the neighborhood, holding her own with all the little boys, attacking every task at home with great strength and confidence.
But the one thing that took all of Aunt Pauline's strength and confidence was to get her little niece to wear a dress. After all, it was 1918.
Finally, an agreement was struck. Pauli could wear boys' clothes all throughout the week. She could even wear them to school. But on Sundays, when she went to church, in front of God and everybody,
Pauli had to wear a dress. I never thought that it would happen for me, a child of my own. I always thought I'd live my life childless and alone. Then Pauli came into my life, a joy from the start. Vexing at times and really stubborn to boot. That's what stole my heart. This girl, this boy. to be? Will they let you shine? Funny, they named her for me. Just like the top that never stops, she will not be confined. Running and jumping and flying about, she can never be defined. This girl, this boy has entered my life. This boy, girl, my child divine. Will you grow to be who you're destined to be? Will they let you shine? But this world won't see the intelligent, headstrong person I see. They'll see Pauli in their own narrow view, calling Pauli a mannish, uppity colored gal. I fear they'll contain her. Suppress her, restrain her. They'll try to control her. Stop her, hold her. Don't hold her back. Let her live, let her go. Let her be free. This precious child, my boy, girl, Pauli. Will you grow to be who you're destined to be? Will they let you shine? Pauli, boy, girl, mine. (1944). Our Howard Law School class was debating Plessy versus Ferguson. It was a case that argued whether it was constitutional to enforce separate but equal. Code words for the separation of white folks from black folks.
The Declaration of Independence promised all Americans individual liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness.
Except for black people. We were given substandard housing, schools, and health care. We sat in designated seats on trains and buses. We could not enjoy pools or parks and could only use toilets and drinking fountains marked colored only.
That is what is known as Jim Crow. The pursuit of happiness, eh? Now, Pauli is the only woman in her law class and speaks up during the discussion about fighting Jim Crow.
I questioned whether race should have been the main argument, since separate but equal is never equal. And members in the class, including Thurgood Marshall, led the class in raucous laughter. But Pauli's gut
told her that she was right.
separate but equal, the approach is all wrong. We can't advance our rights with the same old song. We need a legal lexicon that's bold and brave. Equality for all, that includes former slaves. In the 14th, I could make a plausible case that the language is across the board, not about race. No person may be set aside or marked inferior.
When Negroes live each day with these real molestations, trauma is imbued from generations to generations.
Erased, made kaput. That's the only way we'll give the boot to Jim Crow's foot. Professor Robinson, I'll bet you $10 that Plessy versus Ferguson will be overturned as unconstitutional within 25 years.
Pauli, you got yourself a bet.
Opposition to an idea I cared deeply about always aroused my latent mule-headedness. And I chose for my seminar paper the ambitious topic, should Plessy versus Ferguson be overruled? I typed it up without making a carbon copy and gave it to Professor Robinson.
Years later, 1954, a landmark case, Brown versus the Board of Education, is overturned by the United States Supreme Court, championed by Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Professor Robinson.
Yes, Pauli Murray. Remember that paper you wrote 10 years ago? Well, myself and a Thurgood Marshall, yes, we used your paper as the basis of our argument in winning Brown versus the Board of Education in the United States Supreme Court.
You used my paper as the basis of, in front of the Supreme Court? I believe you owe me $10, sir.
(1933), and Pauli was in love.
I fell in love with a white woman named Peg Holmes.
We met at a women's camp where I was a counselor. Once Pauli left the camp, I followed her all the way back to New York.
Once we were in New York, we dreamed of a life together, starting by traveling together.
Colorado.
California.
Nebraska.
Nebraska?
Why not?
Yeah. Nebraska? Why do you want to go there?
I don't really know, except that there is not here.
But if we go,
If we go from here to there, then we've got no money for the train fare.
won't matter to us at the end of the day, 'cause Jim Crow always gets in the way.
We'll dress in a manner that we enjoy.
Pants, shirt, and cap, just like a boy. I'll cut my hair short, you'll comb yours to the side. They won't see us girls, that fact we'll just hide.
Taking a train, but we're riding the rails. Taking a trip, but we're making a trail. Finding you and finding me, and that makes us
Just let us be. We'll nab a freight train, I'll show you how. Grab my hand first, run and jump, or now just settle in and feel the train sway. Shout hooray, 'cause we're on our way.
taking a train, but we're riding the rails. Taking a trip, but we're making a trail. Finding you and finding me, and that makes us
Just let us be. What's in Nebraska? What's there that's not here?
farms and cornfields and space. Quite a lot of space. We could be by ourselves and do what we like.
I wouldn't mind that. Could we do it? Could we make a life for ourselves out there in Nebraska? I'm almost afraid to think it could happen.
New York